Suddenly, in turn, each one of you rises from your beds, looking around, sweat drenching down your bodies, looking to one another, groggy, stiff, sore, as if you've had a night of absolute terror, the most horrible dreams imaginable. Ever since you've arrived to Barovia, you've not just it's just been one hellish nightmare, one hellish battle after another. Demons, ghouls, monsters, plagues, viruses striking entire villages, killing them all. And yet heroes are struggling to maintain, to be that beacon of light within the land of Strahd. But you had finally made it to Barovia itself. You found yourself at the Raven's Eye Tavern, the tavern, at least the only one that would put you up. You had paid your silver, and you had gone to sleep the last night. Sleep is that thing that's been eluding you the most, and every time you wake up, you always feel just a little more drained. Why are you here? To do good? Let's see. Let's hope. Each of you in turn, sitting up, looks around. Another dim, dull morning. Highly overcast. That irritating mist of rain, where it's not quite rain and it's not quite a mist. I believe the term we generally refer to as it's just simply pissing outside. The floorboards creak, the wooden beds creak as you each in turn sit up, looking around at one another, reaching up and grabbing at sore spots on your body that feel all too familiar, looking at each other. What do you wish to do at this point? It's morning. Breakfast is said to be being served downstairs. And while you smell food, you can't quite place what it is. But there's food nonetheless.
Am I the only one who doesn't want to sleep ever again?
Fuck.
I feel like I've been hit by some sort of runaway horse in my sleep.
Oh, my mouth tastes like I've been chewing on tree bark the whole fucking time.
I think you were. I think I saw you running back in from outside late last night. You were sleepwalking again.
Oh, shit.
Ugh. Rune's gonna get up and walk over to next to his bed. He's got this old, rusted, pitted bastard sword, and he's a cleric, so what the fuck's he doing with a bastard sword? But he's gonna take it and he's gonna take a knee and he's just gonna bring it up to his forehead and he's gonna say a quick prayer to his god and just sort of hope for a bit of respite from these nightmares in the nights to come. But at this point, he's not thinking there's too much of a chance of that, but he'll do it anyways. A little prayer, and then get up and start to, probably has a little thing of water next to his bed, and he's going to do a quick little face pits and undercarriage.
Bits and bits.
Bits and bits.
I think Bjorn is not a religious person at all, but I think he's sitting up on the edge of the bed watching Rune say a prayer, and you see at his hip he's got a white rabbit foot on the end of a chain that he's just kind of like rubbing, and it's kind of lost a little bit of its fur from like years of just kind of rubbing out of anxiety, and after that he kind of puts it back onto his belt and just starts like gearing up for the day.
I think Amalda just goes straight. She doesn't say anything to anyone. She doesn't really want to talk about how she's feeling. She feels weird and in pain, but she smells food. And food usually helps. So she's just kind of going straight downstairs to go find something to eat, some coffee, tea.
Altura slowly gets up and... Is there a window in our room?
There is, yes.
She stands and takes to the window, looking out. What does she see outside?
A destitute is the best way to describe it. She sees the village itself, the rain coming down, putting moisture on windows, people pulling jackets up around their necks as they're moving from building to building. All of the buildings themselves, though, look aged. Not rotting, decayed, but just simply aged. And you can't quite place it because where you're from, they would look like any other house, but somehow they're all just have a slight bit of dinge on them. The streets are cobblestone for the most part. A central fountain that does not have any sort of water actively flowing through it at this time, and the denizens of the town moving about, slowly, barely exchanging glances at one another, much less greetings of the day, but on such a dismal day, that doesn't seem too out of place. And as you're looking around, you look out, and the thick fog, the mists that surround this town, begin to blur what lies within them, though you can see fainted peaks of trees. And just past, you see up upon a hill a large, imposing castle that sits there, not quietly, but more dormant is the feeling you get when you look at it.
I think as she scans the surrounding areas and her eyes finally come to rest on that castle, she feels a shiver go through her spine and her brows knit, and she kind of shakes it off and turns, and she's going to join the rest of the party downstairs and partake in breakfast.
As you head downstairs, we're going to take it from your perspective for a moment. The floorboards creak with each step, and around you can smell that dampness, but it's more than that. All the wood smells like waterlogged. It smells soaked, moldy, but you don't see any mold. You look around, and in that abstract movement, feeling the world around you, it feels real, but somehow not real at the same time. Like you don't belong here, but for some reason you are here. And this overwhelming drive within you, and you've seen it in your fellow companions as well, this drive for some unwritten task that you must complete. Something within you is telling you you must do something here, and how you go about executing that particular task falls on you. But as you join your friends downstairs, these fast friends that you've made, the familiarity of them seems unreal at times. Because the more you think about it, it feels you've only just met these people, but you feel like you've known them your whole life almost. But pushing that aside, you smell breakfast, and it doesn't smell like anything. It smells like food, and it smells cooked. But it doesn't smell like any one thing until you see it. You see what appears to be large chunks of a biscuit, some sort of a hearty gravy of sausage links and some cooked potatoes, as well as breakfast beer laid out. And then it kicks in, and then the scents begin to come and fill your senses once you see it. And you go, oh, I know what this is. As you go and you sit down, the tavern owner who you met the night before, Franklin, an elderly human, walks over and sets down 4 breakfast beers. Right, that will be 5 silver for the lot as well as breakfast. Now, if you do wish to stay for an extended period, we have a little bit of a weekly rate of 10 silver for the week, if you would. But please understand and mind the house rules. After sunset and into the evening, once the tavern shuts down, we ask that you please keep your voices down. We heard rowdiness, he says, trying not to look any of you in the eye, coming from your room. And what you may or may not do is on you. But we do ask because me and my wife, we live here, and there are those of the other guests of the house.
Yeah, what did you hear? What was it that you heard exactly? Because
it was
none of us were sleeping very well, and I think if there'd been rowdiness, we would have been aware of it.
You've begun to receive the terrors. Oh, that's a shame.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
common here.
Did you just say terrors? As in, the terrors with a capital T? What the fuck are the terrors?
This land is cursed. It's not a very warming and welcoming place, and sometimes those who aren't from here, we've had them come through from time to time, trying to do good, trying to take out and destroy that which sits on the mountain. It can affect their minds in some ways, and they'll start suffering night terrors and lashing out and thrashing about. And that, if that was the case, then that would explain the noises that we heard. It was like as if people were just dropped almost, and there were several screams and cries out, but me and the missus, we didn't really know what to make of it, so we just, forgive the assumption. I apologize.
Apology accepted, and apologies for the noise. If you don't mind, I think that we all need to have a wee chat in private.
Aye, that's no problem. You said something, ma'am? And he looks he looks to you, Creep, and is just like, you what?
I only asked if this was normal, but you answered my question.
Oh, yes. Not normal. I believe it's not Abby normal. But yeah. And if you need anything, just let me know. As he walks over and he goes back to tending. Several of the other citizens, they come in. It's the tavern, so many who don't cook for themselves will come in here and they'll pay their few coppers and have themselves a breakfast to start the day off. Many of these faces you have passing memories of, but then again, everybody in this town seems to have kind of a nondescript feel to them, except those that you've directly interacted with. And there are some that do stand out, but for what reasons they stand out, you're not quite sure. But you sit there and you begin to have your breakfast with one another in this cool moment.
I don't know what's stranger, his story or the man himself.
Simone.
Any of yous have some, I slide a breakfast beer over. What kind of night terrors did you have?
I don't remember super clearly. I dreamt that we were in a dungeon, perhaps, or some kind of keep, and we had encountered two brothers, monsters, really, and one transformed into some.
Giant fuck off dragon.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And then I called on my god to transform him back, and then the other one just ripped us apart. Is that what you dreamt also?
Right, and an errant fire spell roasted some of yours.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Altera stiffens slightly at this in her chair.
I think Almada looks directly at Altera. Yeah.
And
Errant
this dream.
fire spell.
So we all had the same dream?
I think so.
Collective dream of death in a place shrouded by mist.
Well, so a long time ago, I was a student of a different kind of power. I studied sorcery for a while in my younger days, and anyways, one thing led to another. I had a strange encounter with a creature that was able to connect with my mind. And the damage that creature caused me to be unable to memorize spell formulas anymore. So being a sorcerer was out the window, but there was this connection that I felt when this creature attacked me, that I could see and hear some of its thoughts and some of the thoughts of other people that it had attacked before, I guess. And there was like a connection being done at that level, on the purely mental level. You think it might be something like that? Maybe some kind of creature in this god-forsaken place that would infect our dreams?
Possibly. Something that has the power to ban across an entire town, though. That's very strong. I'd be curious to know what others have dreamed before us. They share similar dreams.
Yes, and is it the villagers also, or just other strangers like us who get affected by that?
Kurt, can I ask an above table question of, would we know anything about who rules this domain, or exclusive?
By this point, yes, you do. You
Okay.
are well aware of the vampire lord Strahd,
Okay.
who rules over these lands, and he has a small clutch of lieutenants. Three of them being his brides, one of them being his brother.
Got it.
Could I make an intelligence check on what I might possibly know about Strahd and abilities to control dreams?
You could make that kind of a check. Sure, go ahead.
That's a 13 on the dice.
So having been here long enough, the few scrolls and legends you've overheard around hearths and campfires that you've been here, you know that Strahd is, as they say, of the land, and that everything and everyone that dwells here is not beyond his touch. You've also encountered and heard stories of vampires from your own realm, about how they can enter minds and seduce those that they wish to have fall prey to. So, in this sense, it wouldn't be too far of a stretch if he could peer into your mind and toy with you a little bit, perhaps.
It is certainly a possibility that Strahd himself could be touching our minds. It's not out of the realm of vampires to afflict us so. And being that we are currently in his domain, be we lost or trapped here, it is believable he could be touching all of our minds at night as we sleep, giving us these nightmares, torturing us.
So that he might know what we're thinking.
I don't like that one fucking bit. And you see Bjorn just like rubbing the rabbit's foot very, very like neurotically at this point.
Push another breakfast beer towards Bjorn.
Thanks.
Well, seems like we've got two options then. We either find a way out, or we kill Strahd.
We've never talked about why you're all here.
Coin, baby. Why else is anybody anywhere?
A
No,
job's
but
a job.
You've come here to face this lord? Is that what you've come here to do? Or did you come here by happenstance? Did you...
For work. I don't have to answer your questions.
What were you doing before, just before you came here? I remember my past, but I don't remember what I was doing before I got here specifically. I don't even really know why I'm here. I feel like there's a reason why I'm here. I feel like there's a very good reason for that, but...
In the middle of your questioning, you hear a commotion outside, and you hear the neighing and the neighing of horses, as if something almost intentionally is interrupting your conversation, as all of your attention is drawn to the windows that look out. As you do, you see several large black steeds with black armored knights riding them. And between these four ironclad knights, you see a glass coffin and a woman sleeping in it. Cart being pulled by two massive oxen, but these don't look like normal oxen. Let alone does their driver look like a normal creature. You see this goblin-looking individual with a large top hat and a petticoat as he pulls this wagon. And the woman inside the glass coffin is rested asleep, and you hear gasps, you hear cries, you hear sayings of, "Not another one," as Lord Gazumba raids into us, and everybody is screaming. Welcome in, Jay. Welcome in, everybody.
Raiders!
Go
Congratulations on
Raiders!
hitting the goal!
Huge win. Dubs all around. Good job, everybody.
Hell
Yep.
yeah.
If I had one of those rattle things like Pennywise, I'd be throwing that sucker around right now. We are playing a Study in Red, a Ravenloft 2e game, where they have our friends have just woken up from what amounts to a night of hellish nightmares. And now, while trying to ascertain each individual's reason for being here, they are rudely interrupted by a commotion going on outside. Where you guys see this. How do you wish to react to this?
I feel like Amada is like sort of nose to the window watching this happen.
And as you do, you see a woman, right? Asleep on a bed of pillows inside of this glass coffin. The rain streaking and collecting off of it as she is carted by on this. Many of the citizens just looking on in abject terror and gasps. And you see this long, flowing blonde hair in a dress of white, in the small bracelet. That's what I was looking for. Bracelet around that's giving a faint reddish glow off of a jewel, and she rests. She's sleeping a very deep sleep.
Does anybody in the tavern say anything or look that way?
You see several of them, and you hear one man. He's claiming another one.
I think
Shame.
Altera, how far is he from her right now?
He's just sitting at the bar. Like, he didn't get up. Like, he just turned and looked. And he just sits down, and he sits there and he goes back to drinking. Like, and you can see him staring off into space.
I think she's gonna get up and move over to him and kind of lean there against the bar and ask, "Did you know her?"
I don't know her myself, but I know the Lord of the Land, and I know that particular procession. If you believe it or not, that's considered a bridal procession. And he
What
takes
does
a
that
long
mean?
drink. Well, they say that he's been searching for a particular woman, a princess of a far-off land who has abilities within her that he can break free of this particular land and go out and conquer others. See, we know we're not the only land in the mists. There's others out there. We've had other visitors, much like yourself. Don't take any offense. We know when you're not from here. You look a little too glowy, considering most around.
Do you know how to get out?
If you can stop him, or if you can secure the crystalline shard he keeps around his neck.
What is it? The shard.
It said it's the key to his immortality. It's what allows him to go anywhere he pleases, however he pleases, and possess anybody he likes.
I think she kind of like glances back to the party at the table. Like, kind of like, are you fucking hearing this shit right now? Look to everybody.
I feel like Almada's got a very smug look on her face, just kind of nodding and half grimace, half grinning. So
Bjorn has his sword off his back and is just like resting the hand like this, listening.
You seem to know a lot about this place. Is there more you could tell us?
I wish I could.
Is there someone else maybe that could teach us more?
There is, but it's hard to keep him, at least to prolonged exposure to him, for lack of a better term.
You're gonna have to explain that a little bit more.
yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
There's a wizard who helps us out from time to time, us simple folk around here, when the Lord on high decides to play with us, for lack of a better term. But he's tethered to another world, and he can only come in for so long before the mists themselves reject him. And so he's here one minute, he's gone another.
Do you know where we might find him? Or perhaps a way that we could summon him?
Summon him, no. But you can leave a message for him. There's a central city board. Just leave a question. A simple question. A riddle. Something that would require a key phrase or a one-word answer. And address it to Brostrom. He'll find you.
Why haven't the lot of you risen up against him? I mean, sure, he seems powerful, but certainly the amount of people that are in this town and get together a few pitchforks, some torches, go up to that castle. I mean, you'd probably lose a few people, but you'd get the job done eventually.
Because he is the land. We are all made to serve him. Each one of us has our own function, our own duty to play.
So, if someone were to kill him, would that also affect a lot of you?
It would mean an end for us. A finality that we've not known.
I turn over and look at my friends. Is this even real?
I've got no fucking clue at this point.
I feel like we're still dreaming.
I think Almada takes a big swig of her breakfast beer and says, tastes pretty real.
If I wasn't afraid that you'd break my jaw, I'd ask you to slap me just to make sure that I'm awake. No, don't do it.
I can give you a light tap if you'd like.
In that moment, where all of your eyes are averted from this individual, you look back and he's gone.
Where the hell did he go?
That was fucking scary.
You just see his beer sitting there.
Almada gets up and drinks it.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. Oh,
Your beer.
This gets stranger by the moment.
yeah, it fucking reeks.
Yeah, well, at least we have direction.
Well, Tara's gonna come sit back down at the table with everyone.
You all right?
Yeah.
You
I
look.
think we should.
You look more shook up about it.
Just, I don't know. All that castle. This morning when we woke up, as I looked out the window, you know, you can see it from my room.
Boy,
So big, and it's almost like they're on that hill just sleeping, waiting for someone to come inside and wake it up.
Which
That's
might be a
something.
bad idea.
I think we should
Well-
consult this wizard.
by all means. Just, we should be as careful as we can.
Don't think we have much of a choice.
I'm just saying, if it appears that that castle looks like a creature, then we've got two pretty fucking deadly things ahead of us. So, I know it seems a bit strange coming from one who likes to pick fights like me, but quite frankly, I'm rather cautious, and I like to keep things a little close to the chest.
I think that's
Just-
understandable.
So I think this wizard is a good starting point.
I think we're gonna need all the help we can get.
Fuck yeah.
Right. I mean, talking to some intermittently present wizard that you contact through a board in the middle of the village is really not much weirder than the rest of the stuff that's been going on. So,
It's not the worst thing that we have to do. At least he's willing to help.
yeah, but we don't even know who he is. For all we know, it's Strahd himself fucking with people. Like, would you put it past him to do something like that? Like, if he's got that ability to reach on people's minds and such?
Suppose not. But are you going to sit around and wait? There
No
are thumbs
way.
up our asses and no real direction, no real help. So,
Well, there is one direction up the hill.
yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't certainly have a death wish, and I would actually like to go in as prepared as possible. So,
Do you think that this ends in anything but that? Look at the place where we're at. I fundamentally believe that most of us, our souls are held prisoner somewhere and that we have to regain them. But I kind of feel like here it's the opposite. I feel like we're surrounded by souls. We're surrounded by ghosts. This entire place is very ghost-like and ethereal and a little too dreamlike.
yeah, well, not like we have much of a choice.
Yeah, it's not like we can fucking leave.
Have we tried?
Nah,
It's a mist.
I fucking missed, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just topsy-turvy. Like you walk right into it and I'll flip you around. Maybe you end up somewhere worse. Maybe you end up in the bloody castle.
Well, let's finish up here. Go write a note.
I think
I've lost my
Altura,
appetite.
I think Altura pulls a bit of parchment, a small inkwell and a quill from her bag, something she keeps on her, and spreads it across the table. You said we need to ask a question, like a riddle with a single answer. Anybody have any input?
What's black and white and red all over?
A nun in a blender.
The flying fuck's a nun. What the fuck's a blender?
Don't worry about it. It's something from my own land.
Okay.
You see Bjorn has taken a piece of Rune's bacon and like a drippy honeycomb has like stacked it on top and made like a little sandwich and is just munching and sitting and thinking.
Can I have a bite of that? That actually looks really good.
By all means, snaps it in half and gives it. It's that like really gooey, like kind of crunchy, drippy honeycomb.
I think Almada looks at it. I was hoping you'd feed me, and then pops it into her mouth.
Wait, spit it out. I'll do it.
I think the first question we might ask is, can this evil be defeated?
Don't you think that's a bit too direct? Isn't it supposed to be a riddle? Like,
Single answer.
A single answer, and at least it'll let us know if we need to continue or not. Maybe we just meant to kick back and enjoy whatever's left of our lives here, but, you know, if he says yes, then we can start worrying about what else we're going to do.
That is fair.
fair enough.
Game Master. If I understand the bar patron correctly, it seemed like we were supposed to pose a riddle kind of to get this wizard's attention. Like something clever to get their attention.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like answering a question for us.
Yeah. More.
Okay, sorry, I didn't get that.
Like
Yeah.
a lure to get
Yeah.
him to come speak with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
I
this
think
kind of
Altera...
Is
Go
this
ahead.
like leaving an envelope in a specific mailbox in a specific city and getting that tap from like this underground person?
Kinda. You've basically been instructed to leave a riddle, right? With basically a single word answer, right?
Mhm.
So and what it is it's to get his attention,
Yeah.
right? So it's the whole 40 white horses all in a row standing on a red mountain. What am I?
Yeah.
Right?
I think Altera
Okay.
looks to Rune and she says, I don't think he's meant to just answer blatant questions for us. This is different. This is like a game to get noticed, something to entertain him, something to draw him to us.
So what if we say, what moves as silently as a cat, is white, but obscures the vision, and is an early riser, but is never seen at night?
You can see her trying to work the riddle in her mind as you
The
say
mist.
that to her.
The mist.
Smart. And she starts jotting it down hurriedly on the paper. You notice that even as she writes quickly, her penmanship is absolutely immaculate. It is some of the most beautiful cursive you've probably ever seen. You know that as a magic user, she has probably spent many, many nights copying spells and writing in her various tomes. Very well. Should we go post it?
Well, I'm ready.
Let's go.
No time like whatever is going on here.
Yeah. Altera's gonna stand, putting her quill and her ink well back into her bag and carrying that little piece of parchment along with her.
As you do, you go out and you ask some of the local folk where the board is at, and they direct you in, right? And as you do, as you walk up to it, you see this large wooden board with several pieces of paper tacked to it, right? Some, seeking help, others asking, have you, missing persons, things along those lines, right? And you look up, and etched across the top of it, it just says bulletin. And as you pull out a small nail and a hammer that lays there, you tap it in to the board.
While we're doing that, Almada's going to want to look at anything else that might be on the board.
Okay, go ahead and give me a wisdom check.
It's very strange, but I kind of get the feeling like I've done something like this before.
And that is one thing that you feel. You feel an overwhelming sense of deja vu as you are attaching this.
Yeah, you know what? I'm feeling that same way too.
I got 13 on the die.
On the die? Cool.
Mhm.
So as you're looking over, you can't help but notice just on the edge of this particular board, right? You're following it around, you're looking at there's paper stacked on top of paper, stacked on top of paper, and you look at it, and you see a small carving on the wood. Barely noticeable if you weren't actively searching. And you flip up paper after paper after paper, pulling aside notice, picture, drawing, and you see an hourglass carved into the actual back of the wood. And it just simply says above it, with time comes change.
Do I recognize that symbol belonging to anyone?
Not that you're aware of.
Welcome in, readers.
Welcome in, Phoenixy Wacky. Thank you so much for raiding us. We are playing a little bit of 2E Ravenloft, and right now our intrepid heroes are caught in the town of Barovia inside Ravenloft, where they are trying to piece some clues together and ask for a little bit of help.
How you doing, John, mate? Good to see you.
Almada's going to kind of keep all those papers pushed to the side. Hey, check this out.
Now, Almada, one thing you would know is things like this are very common amongst thieves.
Ooh.
Hiding things. You don't recognize the symbol itself, or the saying or the phrase, but the way that it's there, the placement that it has, right? You've seen similar traits exhibited in Thieves' Cant and communications between various guilds and whatnot in your homeland.
Okay.
So it's bringing up those kinds of feelings.
Sure. Yeah, then Almada will tell the party, looks like we've got a little thieves guild here.
Do you think perhaps they'll be of use to us?
Well, if they don't cut our throats when we find them, but with me around, you'll be fine. But yes, I think they should be helpful.
Where do we begin to look?
Where I'm assuming Almada would know that a thieves guild would hang out in a certain particular place regardless of the town.
So you know that most, if they follow suit as many of the guilds you've encountered before, right?
Mhm.
They leave markings in places, things that you would have to notice or be in the know of to recognize.
Okay.
So you kind of, it's that whole idea of like, you don't necessarily speak German as an example, right? But you've seen a German manual for your own car. So like, it's one of those like, I don't know what that word says in German, but it's pointing to the same part, and I know what that part is.
Yeah,
Kind of thing,
I
right?
can do a rough translation.
Yeah, you
on
can
the
basically
fly.
be like, this is, and you can do that to a degree with the markings around town, should
Yep.
you find them.
Well, we sort of got to sniff them out. They're not going to be found easily, but now we know their symbol.
But wouldn't an organization like that in a place like this be under the thumb of the Lord? Do you think that someone like this vampire lord or whatever the hell he is would let something like that go
Well,
run amok in his town? Like, when we be just sort of offering ourselves to him?
Well, if they're smart, then they're probably keeping to the shadows. Or to the light, as it might be.
not to mention their calling card. With time comes change. I'm inclined to believe that they're probably on the up and up as far as thieves guilds go.
It's worth a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Only one way to find out.
Well, field trip, everyone.
Might as well kill time.
Change and all
Kill
that.
time. I was gonna say, if you kill time, we won't get any change. But
As you progress through the town, Bones, go ahead and give me a percentile roll, please.
I would love to do that for you.
I would greatly appreciate it.
It's not good. It's 25%.
Okay.
But I have an advantage. Would
You
it
can use
behoove
it.
me? I'm gonna say it's gonna behoove me.
I do love that word, but I mean,
Behoove.
Oh, that's much better.
Hooves
Mug
on.
horse face.
to put hooves on,
76%. That's much better.
much better.
that would be
So, as you are looking around town, you begin to notice those telltale signs. And the group is following you around, taking you around, and it seems as though at sometimes you're walking in circles. Before too much longer, you find yourself standing before what amounts to a cellar door opening. Closed, of course, but you see just ever so slightly on the small of the framework that hourglass.
I would like to, first and foremost, if I can, check for traps.
I'll roll this.
And remember, I have that spell to find traps. If you
Yeah, we already know. I remember.
I'm going to use one of my advantages on this roll.
I'm nervous.
Oh.
I stand back.
Brace for impact.
TPK, you wake up.
You go, and in that moment of hubris, of the cocksureness of you know what you're doing, you grab at that door. And as you do, you yank on the door, and the door immediately jerks back, right? And your hand suffers quite a shock
Ouch.
as you take 2 points of damage as it electrical bolt courses up. And welcome, Orc Skull, because they're about to find some orcs and some skulls. Maybe, possibly. We don't know what's behind door number 3 just yet, but we're getting there.
I'm Strudel rated us.
Huh?
Not the Orc School.
My
I'm
bad. Hi, Strudel. I saw
maybe
Orc
we'll-
Skull pop up.
Maybe we'll find strudels.
Ooh, there might be.
I love a strudel.
I love a good strudel.
Oh yeah.
That's your tattoo, you're my strudel.
Can I?
Oh my.
Can I talk through the door in Thieves' Camp?
Sure
Thieves'
can.
Camp's like with hands, isn't it?
No, it's also spoken.
Okay.
So, like, it's depending upon where you're from, Thieves' Camp can be anything from like a Pig Latin kind of sounding thing
Mhm.
to where they speak in a different lexicon.
Okay. I'd like to use Thieves' Cant then
All right.
and say, in Thieves' Cant, found your symbol. I'd like to have a word.
No response.
Say again in Thieves' Cant. I've got coin.
No response.
Son of a gun.
Do you require any assistance?
Shut up! I'm working here.
I'll let you cook.
I'm interested in change.
You hear a lock release.
Yeah, baby. Can I try the door?
You sure can.
Thanks. Okay.
Bjorn
As you-
has his sword out, like, so ready.
As you do, the door swings open, and you are met with a large waft of mist and cool air and the vile stank of the sewers of Barovia.
Smells like home.
Ugh, gross. Your home is fucking disgusting.
Smells like a thieves guild. Come on down. Water's fine. And then Almada's gonna walk on in.
Why'd you have to say it sexy like that? And
I
you just see
can't help
Bjorn
it
like
if I turn you on.
Bjorn's like, fuck, God, ah, and then just clambers down the stairs behind.
Tara's gonna follow in behind Bjorn.
Oh no,
I
we're
think
flirting.
I think Rune considers casting augury to know whether or not it'd be a good idea to go down there, but realizes he probably doesn't have time, so he follows.
As Rune enters and descends the stairs and joins his fellow adventurers on that final flagstone of the stairs, the door behind you slams shut, and you hear a series of locks engage once more.
I told you this was a fucking bad idea.
You're
As-
fine.
As you're down here, oddly enough, you can breathe fairly easily despite the stench that is very much bombarding your senses. And as you look around, the waters that flow underneath here give off a faint fluorescent glow, illuminating the sewers, casting a degree of low light. As you begin to move through, one after another, you look around, Bones, as you're looking for those telltale signs. Give me a wisdom roll.
Okay. It's a 12.
Okay. As you're... actually...
Say that. Don't say that. Don't say, ooh, actually.
I'm going to burn another advantage.
Don't say that either. Why are you saying these things? Why are you hurting me?
It's personal.
That's right. I've got them. I'm going to use them. Because I have to be the troll's hero. in the land of Creepville.
I just need you to know.
I am their shining hero.
I almost said something really unkind, and I'm not going to do that in front of you, in front of all these people, these nice people. I'm not going to do that.
Oh my goodness.
Her mama raised her right.
As you move through, I need you each remaining to make a wisdom roll for me, please.
Oh, that's a 19 on the dice for me.
Okay.
That's a 17 for me.
Let the hatred flow through you.
That's a 16 on the die for me.
Alrighty, cool beans. Okay. As you're moving through, Bones, you're looking left and right, trying to find the things, and you guys are fairly certain you've walked in a circle at least once.
You leave me alone.
As she's looking, you're almost certain that rotting carcass that's in this sewer, you're pretty sure this is number 2 pass on that one. Its placement's a little too keen.
Are you leading us on a wild goose chase there, love?
It does feel like we're walking in circles.
Let me work. I would like to really take a moment to like really study the surroundings, study the walls. I'm looking for the symbol. I'm looking for any symbol really that might point us in the right direction. I'm really, really, really working really hard on this.
Can I help her?
Sure.
Power of friendship.
You'll have a situational bonus of +5.
That's an 11, making a 16.
You see a doorway in a recessed alcove. And as you do, the faint fluorescent light shimmers just enough and it catches a small glyph on the door. That same etched hourglass catching inlaid silver on it.
Excellent.
How do you proceed?
It's an alcove with a door.
Mm-hmm.
I go up to the door and I say in Thieves' Cant again, I'm here for change.
And at that, you feel a blade under your neck. As a hood drops and a hand reaches around your waist and pulls you close to a form, the shimmering cloak of invisibility drops as a haggard old man, eyes scarred over, mask up over his mouth, turns and looks at you all. And you hear through that mask, "You're seeking change. You're not from here, are you?"
Hey, it's dark in here.
No, we're not from here.
Do you wish to stop that which dwells eternal? Are you champions? Or are you his servants?
We serve no one but ourselves.
He with his one good eye, he very well. And the blade releases. Come in. He pulls the cloak back just enough, and it still shimmers, gathering the image that would be behind him, right? As he moves through and pulls the string on it, whipping it around, folding it over so you can see the inside of it. The door opens up, and you enter into what appears to be a small basement of sorts, but it's very well stocked, very well furnished. There's several bunks, and you see several individuals sleeping in these bunks. You can hear people moving above you. And as you do, you begin to hear familiar tones and familiar voices. Well, that'll be 5 silver for the night, or 10 for the week. As you look around, he sits down. You see a woman come out of the shadows carrying a large claymore and some sort of an odd tubular type weapon that is strapped to her waist, her leg made of wood and vine. As she sits down and looks over on the bed, you see what appears to be a knight of some sort with mixed-matched armor laying there, sleeping in his armor of all things.
Well,
He sits down. And what kind of change do you wish to bring about?
seems like you got a big problem up in that castle.
Many have come and tried to free these lands. All have ended up serving him.
Yeah.
Power is quite tempting.
We've no intention of ending up serving him.
Yes, there was one who said such things as well. And now he's one of his strongest allies. So tell me, who are you?
Travelers from beyond the mist, looking for a way out. Who are you?
They call me Von Richten. And I've been fighting this war since, probably before you were born.
GM, do any of us know that name?
Probably not.
Okay, just wanted to check.
Sounds like a pretty long time to be fighting a war.
He just looks at it. He just looks at you and he goes, I was a young man in my 20s when I first came here.
How old are you now?
He just smiles. Old enough.
Look, we want to get into that castle. We want to take care of that problem because we all want to leave.
But before we even think about that, is there a point in doing that? This, you've been fighting this thing for, and I take a look at him, 40, 50 years? Is there even a point in...
Because many come through and claim that they're actually going to stop him for once in one of his moments of weakness. But all have failed, not for lack of trying, but because they become so beaten down that they give in and end up becoming another minion of his.
Well,
He gestures to the woman who's standing there. She came with a group of 7. All of them amazing, powerful. They fought like tigers. But in the end, she was the only one left. The rest of them destroyed or turned.
when you say turn, you mean...
He just goes like this.
That what happens to those in the carriages? The woman in the glass coffin we saw earlier today.
The woman you saw earlier is Princess Cunningham. She's apparently of another world beyond the mists. Some say she's from some sort of a hawk world. But that's who he's chosen to be his bride. His eternal bride.
You'll release him from this place.
That is what they believe. that through her, he'll be able to access and take over any world beyond this one. So,
And all the realms would become like the mists.
they would indeed.
And we really won't have anywhere else to go home to.
We can't let that happen.
Vaughn, are you a gambling man?
He just smiles and he pulls out a deck of cards and lays it out.
No, I don't mean like that.
Oh.
We'll get there. Don't worry. I'm into that. However, let's make a deal. If we succeed, if we kill Strahd, I think a sizable payout would be agreeable. Would it not?
Well, I say if you're able to kill Strahd, you're entitled to his whole treasury.
Yeah, that sounds like a trap.
There is a catch to it.
All right.
See?
He must be replaced.
Why is that?
Because if not, then this whole realm will be undone. Unless that is your goal. There are those that would aid you simply to bring about an end.
Yeah, so we heard.
If
Question. Oh, go ahead.
this world doesn't exist anymore, where do the people within it go?
He taps his dagger to his nose and then points at you. My dear sweet girl, you already know the answer to that question.
There are worse things.
But for many, they've accepted their lot in life, that they are merely playthings, things simply here to facilitate his being. And though they may know this, some still wish that end. Now, you sought me out. You desire change. What can I do for you?
What do you got? Surely down here you've got something pretty tasty to unleash on our old pal Strahd.
Unfortunately, the only thing that I have is a map and a point of entry.
Take it.
It's better than nothing.
But at what cost? What are you going to give me in exchange for this?
Well, eternal freedom.
Perhaps the reassurance that we'll take down the fucking vampire.
At least the dwarf understands. Though I will say this much, as he stands and he does the very old man thing where he just stands up and greed will be your undoing, Master Halfling. Because greed is what took all of her people. And she looks at you, her throat ripped apart. You can see where the scarring, where her voice box has been ripped out, is all over it. And her armor and everything haphazardly looking, and she just kind of looks at you and shakes her head. The man in the bunk stirs a little bit in his armor and turns on his side.
Thanks for the concern.
As you are all in this room beneath the tavern, exchanging information with von Richten, he agrees, albeit a little reluctantly, to hand over his map that tells you of a sewer entrance, of a water runoff that is not easily accessible, but can be gotten to. It is often overlooked, and he has used it from time to time to try and send raids, so to speak, into Strahd's castle, though it has not always panned out very well, because he informs you that through this particular sewer grate, it'll lead you into the lower areas of his castle.
And that's not good.
You puts you in the dungeons of his castle, he explains. And he, furthermore, those dungeons lead up to his sleeping chambers. Which, as he explains this, that, again, feeling of deja vu begins to roll over you. Not necessarily of the conversation, but of the dream that you had. The dream that you all shared. And going inside bedchambers, up through sewers. Taking a left, or was it a right?
It's a trap.
Anyone else getting that feeling like we've done this before?
Yeah, it feels awfully familiar.
It's making my teeth itch.
I don't get that feeling, but
Well, you know that unsettling feeling.
on your teeth,
Like a dwarf thing.
it's gotta be a dwarf thing.
Oh, it's not a bloody dwarf thing. You never had that where something, it just makes you
No,
not feel right.
no.
So your teeth feel
Not
a
my
little
teeth.
itchy.
No,
No, nothing? Oh,
No.
fucking hell.
No. All right, Vaughn. You got your cards out. How much are you willing to wager?
I'll tell you what. How about you let me play the cards? And we'll just see what they turn up.
Weird way to gamble. I was gonna try and go for your cloak.
Sit down. And he sits down and he begins, and you notice these cards are slightly larger as he begins to shuffle them through. What do you say, a silver for a draw?
Sure.
And he slaps his hand on the card. What do you think it is?
Does it matter what I think?
Oh, it does indeed very much matter what you think it is.
Good fortune. Something of the likes.
He pulls the card, flips it over. You see a tarot card. And it's the Fool. And he slides it to you. And he stands up and he walks. And he slaps the deck. And he looks at you, Creep. What's your card?
He reaches out, pulls a card.
The Empress. Interesting. He walks over to Rune.
Is it alright if I pass?
Up to you.
Just draw the bloody card, man.
Takes the first card on top.
You turn it over, and the image that you see haunts you for a moment before the letters before you form to a language of which you can read. The martyr.
I could have told you that.
He looks down. And yourself, Master Dwarf?
Well, I'm not one for superstition and hocus pocus, but... And again, I didn't think I'd find myself here, so I'm willing to go on a little faith.
He holds the deck out.
Draw a card.
You flip it over. And it's the soldier.
Well, well, well. Not too surprising, I imagine.
Now, what kind of a plan do you actually have for going into the castle?
Well, first of all, I'm going to look at Von Richten, I'm going to say, you know a lot about this thing, this creature. You've been fighting it for a long time. The man upstairs said that this creature was the land around you, everything here. How does one defeat the land?
How do you defeat all great kings? You attack their hubris. Think of it this way. If you are a king, a lord of everything you survey, there's a degree of confidence that comes with that. And I ask you, is that something you attack head on? No, because you'll see it coming from a mile away.
That's not really what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is saying that Strahd is the land. It means that he's more than just physical. It means that he is an idea, a notion that everything that exists in this world, whether it's physical or not, is a representation of that. It's something that can't be killed. And if you were to kill it, everything would fall apart. Everything would disappear. Everything would cease to be if you could kill it, which I imagine is probably rather difficult. So I'm going to ask you again. Can this thing be defeated?
All things can be destroyed. But it's a matter of whether or not you want to destroy it.
Yeah, because if we do, someone's going to take his place.
That is correct.
What
Was
about
there
his
someone-
bride?
What was that?
She looks to Rune. His bride.
Wouldn't you just be trading one prison for another then?
Perhaps
Do we
you're
have the right to
correct.
make that decision for her?
What's her other fate? To stay here under his thumb?
Well, one would assume that if we're able to liberate her, to kill him or get rid of him somehow, that she might be able to return to her world. If these mists lift.
But you said it yourself, if we kill him, we kill the land, we kill everything, everyone in here dies.
That's my fear.
What if we give someone the opportunity to take his place? To do something good here?
Well, a person would have to want a paradise created by forces. No paradise, but if they're willing. The same way one can look at a rainy day and be filled with happiness and joy at the sight of it. The mind is powerful and it gets to assign meaning to things. If we were to arrange for a mind that could be more positive, more welcoming, or more welcomed by the people of this place, it might be worth doing. But I mean, I know how to put my mace through something's head. The idea of fighting an idea, fighting...
Or get some sounds.
Is someone vacuuming?
Oh god.
What the hell's that from?
We all startled like cats. We were
Yeah.
like,
That was wild.
That was weird.
Did that didn't come from anyone?
it sounds like it's on. Yep.
Hert's
Naughty.
computer has liftoff.
Sounds like a fan. It sounds like a computer fan that's going fucking haywire.
No, I still hear it.
He shouldn't be able to. I think he's muted right now. Yeah.
Wow. I was like,
Interesting.
take off.
Is it in your room or?
Is the vacuum in the room with you now?
Well, I mean, you
Vacuum
don't
in the
hear
room with you
anything
now.
outside your. You don't hear anything around you.
It sounded like it was right next to him, so I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Wow,
was
so
wild.
it's something inside your computer, I guess. I don't know. Unmute just for show.
It sounded like the old laptop.
Don't hear
Whoa.
anything.
Wait, is he turned down?
I turned him down some.
I don't know.
Whoa.
That was wild.
Yeah, it sounded like someone was vacuuming like right outside
Yeah.
your office
Yeah.
door.
No,
weird.
everybody's asleep.
Okay.
The ghost
alright.
in the machine.
Like
Oh
ghost
no,
in
the
machine,
vacuum
dog.
inside the machine.
Anyway,
It's
I like
canon
a
now.
little ghost to get all that dust outside of my computer.
Fucking dag on tech gremlins. I understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I don't know what I was saying, but yeah. In any case, that being said, I guess that we should have some sort of plan, but I'm not personally well versed in the art of destroying vampires. So aside from asking my god's favor and turning him, which may not work, as he seems to be quite powerful, my god is a little fickle.
well,
We need some more concrete ways of dealing with him.
let's hope that our bulletin board notice was noticed. And while I'm not necessarily your strongest member here, I at least know how to break in somewhere.
You've got your talents, lass.
That's for certain.
Because I don't have a break-in spell, so...
We were told that there's a.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
No, please, go ahead.
We were told that there's crystal he holds around his neck. Something of great power. Do you know anything of this, Rickton?
It's said to be his most prized possession. It's said to be the thing that allows him to travel from place to place, body to body. Because yes, that is one thing that he can do. He can very much take over those around him should he so choose to. And in some cases, replacing them. That is how someone is chosen every time he's defeated. That is why so many lose so many times, because they don't take the shard.
So if someone were to replace him, they would need to take that shard?
That is correct.
think you all see the wheels in Altera's mind spinning at this point.
But anyone who dares to attempt to replace him runs the risk of becoming him. That shard is a very powerful, old relic that can, some say, was created in the very fires of hell itself.
Maybe we need to destroy it then.
And if we destroy it, is that how we destroy everything else here?
I don't know.
Destroying everything here is just... There's, how much stock would you put in answers from the wizard who supposedly answers message from the board? You are muted.
Brostrom?
Rostrum.
He's... unreliable, in my opinion.
Like most gods.
He's not a god. Though he definitely cheats his way into and out of this realm, though I'm told he pays a price for it.
So why does he do it?
For whatever reason, he wants to see the defeat of Strahd.
Have you been in the castle?
Twice. And the last time I was there, he left me with this. And he put gestures to his very mangled eye.
Why did he... Well, here's a question for you. The last time you were there and he left you that, did you just kind of wake up the next morning feeling like it had been a dream, or...
No. He laughed at me. Told me to try again. And then his brother whisked me from the castle and dropped me in the river.
Didn't he say that to us? Try again?
He's playing with his food.
Well, if you know of any traps on this map, I'd like it if you could point them out to me.
He does.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, continue. He does. He just, as you're speaking, he's pointing at the map and he's drawing stuff on it.
Is there any dissent between the two brothers? Something that could be exploited?
Radigan, his brother, is horribly scarred and decaying in many respects. And that was punishment for the time that he tried to take Strahd's kingdom from him. But he has a hunger and appetites that are only kept in check by his brother.
So we're gonna want to kill him too.
Great, 2 bloody vampires.
Are they susceptible to light of day, perhaps?
If you have ever been able to bring about true light into this world, then you are a singular entity. As you've probably noticed, it gets light outside, but we never truly see the sun.
I'm going to interrupt this moment to say thank you to Patrick for donating $270 through the St. Jude link.
Fuck yeah, thank you, Patrick.
And because of Patrick's generosity, I am spreading that out amidst all the players because fuck you, Kurt, you have enough advantages. And that gives everybody 3 advantages each. So
Thank you, Patrick. But now they have a one-up over me, Patrick.
Now we have the power.
I'm gonna
That's it.
post.
Stop there.
I posted the current advantages into the chat. Thanks
Oh,
again,
no.
Patrick. You're amazing.
Amazing.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
Patrick, you're the man.
Love that. Snaps all
Patrick.
around.
Wow, Patrick, thanks.
Patrick, you're the best.
Patrick, you know this means now I have to kill them, right?
Oh God.
Like
You don't have to do anything.
Like you weren't gonna.
I like that. You know what? I'm done arguing with Kurt. I'm just gonna make silly sounds at him now.
Is there any
Yeah.
further help that you or the others here could give us? It seems that numbers would be.
If you find a sure positive way of defeating him, you will be aided.
In the map, we can keep this.
If you fail, it'll find its way back to me.
Is there a repository of knowledge here somewhere in town? History, things of that nature?
I mean this with no condescension, as I know not what world you come from. But tell me a lord that exists where they want their peasants educated.
Look over at Altera. Anything else you can think of?
She picks up the Empress card and holds it between her fingers. And this? Mind if I keep it?
Always. It's yours to have.
She tucks it inside her robes.
What?
As far as plans go, I think that any plan we do is going to be a disadvantage to us because he can clearly get into our minds and he can clearly see what we're thinking and he can clearly ascertain any plans we might make. I think maybe the way to do is to not make a plan if we don't know what we're doing. Sounds crazy, but if we don't know what we're doing, he can't know either.
That actually makes sense.
It does.
I hate to admit it.
Is there a place where we could go and shop for some supplies and things?
Well, there's a general store.
Is there a church here?
There is. There is a temple of the All Gods, but no one's been there in some time. Many have abandoned any belief in that place.
Oh. I'll go pay a visit anyways. Can you give us directions to that and the general store?
He does.
Rune.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt your devotional, but could I come with you?
Sure.
Right.
What about Bjorn and I go and do that, and the two of you go and do a bit of shopping and can give you a list of the things that I need?
Sure.
Of course.
Do we have money? Put my hands in my pocket.
You do.
Yeah.
You each have about 100 silver pieces.
Oh,
All right, I'll give it to
dedicated.
And my jewels.
And your jewels.
And your
her
jewels.
family jewels.
My jewels.
I'll give my money to Altera. I'll keep like whatever 5 silver.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
As you all go, the old man says, "Oh, Tara, right.
Yeah.
Heavy is the crown."
Thank you, Von Richten, for all that you've done.
May you succeed. And release us all from this prison.
Yeah.
As they're heading out, I think Almada lingers behind and offers a hand to Von Richten. Maybe next time I can actually play cards with you.
I'm more of a dice man myself.
Should have said that before. And I shake a little pouch at my hip. Clacking sound of dice.
Sounds
Oh,
like a
those were
deal.
teeth.
Well, you don't know about me, preacher man.
She turns and leaves.
Okay. As you
I stay.
Oh,
No, I leave.
okay. As you all head out and make your way back towards the street level, the cellar doors fling open to allow you exit, and as you do, you are met with cold, hard rain falling from the sky.
Fucking hate it here.
The two groups going their separate ways. Cue journey. Bjorn and Rune heading towards the abandoned chapel, and Altera and Almada heading towards the general store. Inside the general store, you find a small woman standing there. Oh. Hello. How can I help you? As she forces a smile on her face to greet unknown strangers.
Doing a bit of shopping.
What can I help you with? We have most fine wares and goods that most people need.
Looking for something that an adventurer could use. Maybe in the heat of battle. Something like caltrops and the likes.
Caltrops, you need to see Winston, the blacksmith. He can manufacture those for you, but that's not something we would normally just carry. I can offer you bedrolls, or perhaps rations, or do you in need of a water skin, or perhaps a good solid cloak? It's rather drab outside.
Do you have like a cloak of invisibility?
She just stares at you in peasant.
It's a joke. It's a bad joke.
Okay.
Maybe oil, candles, rope, chalk, wooden stakes.
Yes, that guy, yeah. Oh, yes. And you see her like grab a wooden crate, and she starts going and pulling things off of the shelf behind her and filling it in or whatnot as you're rambling those things up. How many candles? And
4 seems good.
okay, 4. Yeah. And she's like getting numbers from you as she's pulling it all down. And
maybe some healing potions. Do you have any potions? Are you potion
Or
person?
perhaps an alchemist in town.
there is an alchemist in town. I don't have any potions, I'm sorry, but I do have several salves that can help.
We'll see the alchemist. I'm sure your salves are great. I'm sure they're probably the best salves in the land. But maybe that's a maybe for us right now. We're on a budget, you know.
Oh, of course, I very much understand that. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of, how do you plan to pay for these things?
Well, what's the damage there, ma'am?
Nothing's damaged.
No, how much is it?
Oh, a 20 silver for the current, what you have.
Have you, not to say anything is wrong with these things, but do you think maybe you could go a little bit lower, maybe like closer to 15 silver?
Well, Tara
She
lays down the 20 silver.
Oh my god.
She takes it smiling, and like in that moment the both of you see like what amounts to her till, right, is vacant. There is nothing in there. And that's the first coin that she's been able to put in there.
You said there's an alchemist in town. Is there anyone
Yes.
who perhaps sells interesting wares, things
We
that
have
are
a.
perhaps a bit more hard to come across?
I believe there's a Vishtani encampment just outside of town. They sometimes have interesting wares, but we unfortunately don't.
The Vistani, are they amicable?
For the most part, provided you mind your manners and you don't steal anything. They look very much down on thievery of their goods.
I think Altera's eyes drift over to Almada.
Almada's eyes are drifting up to Altera.
Perhaps you should make yourself comfortable at the tavern for the time being. Maybe our friend will show up.
I can do that.
Have a drink.
Or several. Just so you know, I understand that these people are poor, okay? And I'm not trying to, like, give them a hard time. But I just wanted you to know that it is in my lifeblood to always haggle for a bargain.
I understand.
It
I
can't be
just
helped.
chose to do the right thing.
There is nothing wrong with also looking for a bargain. And then she's just gonna walk out.
As she does, the girl behind the counter smiles, right, and watches you intently as you leave. Do you head to the Vistani camp?
I think that she's gonna actually go to the alchemist first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You go to the alchemist, Winston, and he's there, and you go in, and you're met with this man in big leathers and what have you that's covering him in a long, like, plague doctor's mask, right, with giant canisters attached to it, right, and smoke is billowing all around him, incense, and what amounts to a medieval chemistry lab is behind him. The sounds of churning and bubbling are going on behind him, and he turns, and through the mask is like, "Whoa, oh, hello," and there's that audible hiss as he lifts the mask up, and trails of smoke come out around him, and an interesting scent bombards your senses. And he just looks at you with bloodshot eyes. "How can I help you?"
Looking for any useful potions? Kind of things do you sell here?
Potions. I have all sorts of potions. And I can make you anything provided you bring me the materials. That's all that I require.
I don't really have time for gathering right now. What do you have on hand?
I have several potions of healing. I have a potion of rejuvenation, and I have a potion of mana.
How much for these things?
They're 40 silver apiece.
She counts her coins.
Who are you?
An outsider?
But who are you?
Altera, Idem. She offers a hand.
He looks at it unsure what he's supposed to do, and then awkwardly takes it, his gloved hand or whatnot, grabs it, and he gives it a squeeze more so than shakes it, and he pulls his hand back. "Why are you here?"
Well, I'm not quite sure.
Oh.
But I hope to help the people of this place.
Help and supplant, or help and free?
I would like to free the people here, ideally.
That's a hard task you've committed yourself to. I'll make you a deal, if you'll permit.
What is that?
And he reaches over and he grabs the potions off the wall, the 2 healing potions, rejuvenation and a mana. He sets them down before you. And he sets down a syringe. A weird greenish fluid within it. Radigan killed half of me, but the other half of me still endures, hidden. Put that in Radigan, and let him rot forever. And we'll have a bargain. Altera, the outsider.
Do I know this name, Radigan?
You know that is Strahd's brother at this point.
She lifts the syringe and holds it into the light of a candle nearby. I can do this for you. I'll at least try.
Thank you, Scott. Their punishment will be quite severe.
Son of a bitch!
God damn it!
You sick bastards!
But your punishment must be more severe.
Oh.
I was born in Barovia, raised by it.
Molded by it. I didn't know the lands of Greyhawk or the Forgotten Realms till I was a man, and even then it blinded me.
My God.
Oh.
Because I got a little distracted there. He's giving me the potions for doing this for him, basically. Is that what he said? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She slips that syringe into her pocket. And what should I call you?
Winston.
Very well, Winston. When I drive the syringe into him, I'll make sure he knows who to send his regards to. And she scoops the potions from the table and puts them into her pack.
Know that you carry a plague. A plague that will destroy the most prized security of Strahd. Use it well, and may it find purchase. And he drops the mask back down, and you just hear that, and smoke billows out somewhere from beyond him, and he just kind of shuffles into a back room.
She leaves.
At the Temple of the All Gods, Rune and Bjorn enter. You enter this building of wood and stone. You see faceless gods, gods you've never known, and some gods you have. Line the walls, small little statues. Just small 12-inch statues, and very small daises before them. You look around, and the pews are covered in dust. Discarded tomes and testaments of faith piled in corners. Offerings left at some of them, and others have never once seen a single offering made. As you walk in, you both have to cover your mouths for a moment as the dust kicks up and that smell of old mildew and musk bombards your senses. It smells old, but it does not smell decayed.
You a praying man then?
No, not personally.
Not even in moments of deep despair or profound joy?
I've seen enough fucked up shite to last me a lifetime and make me believe that there is no God.
But see, that's where the problem lies, is that people attribute so many things to the gods that really, if you think of a god as something, one, so powerful as to be able to create everything around us, and two, so bored as to actually want to take notice of you, why would you even get up in the morning? It makes no sense. A creature like that powerful, it'd be like living here. Gods are not about what they do to us or for us or about us. The gods are immaterial to all that. The gods made the rules, and now it's up to us to live by them and to imagine that they're there paying attention is foolhardy at best.
Well, then they're just children on a playground, aren't they? They create these rules that we have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
They've abandoned their game.
Mm-hmm.
So why the fuck would we follow those rules?
Well,
Why not make our own?
Well, you're very free to do that. Fortunately, most of the time the rules they've made are the rules that regulate everything else around us. When we pray to the gods, we're not asking for a favor, we're just trying to understand a little better what the rules are. But there are some things the gods are good for. And he'll find a place that looks like maybe it was like a holy receptacle or, like a basin or something, and he's going to start cleaning it out. And then after he's cleaned it out thoroughly, he's going to start filling it with water from his water skin. The thing about the gods is that their power comes from one source, and one source only. Us. Gods have only as much power as we give them.
So why give them any? If they're just kids pulling the wings off a fly?
Well, because sometimes they can prove useful. And you'll start doing a little chant and you'll start blessing the water in the little basin or whatever. What did you want to come here?
Well, more than anything, I'm a bit curious about you.
About me?
That's right. And maybe I'm a bit curious about the teachings of your god and why a man such as yourself would devote yourself to all this. I know you've seen some fucking things in your time. Otherwise, I don't think that dream would have affected you as hard as it did. So, I guess I want to see what makes you tick.
Well, I don't know if this will be very enlightening, but what happened to me after that creature messed with my mind and I lost the ability to memorize spells was that I became aware of a increasingly deep and broad void inside of me, inside of my mind. And I feared it, and it kept me awake, and it drove me to madness, and it drove me to drinking, and it drove me to terrible thoughts. But eventually I started thinking, what if instead of fearing this void, what if I instead start worshiping it? And the more I thought about it, the more I thought that we spend a lot of time talking about people's souls, but what if that's the universal jest that we don't have souls, that our souls are all kept somewhere else, and the reason we can't feel fulfillment and we can't feel complete is because our souls are being kept somewhere until we do something to get them back. And that clicked something in my mind, and I thought, what is it that I would have to do to get my soul back? And I'm guessing that's why I'm here, but the idea of having a concrete thought about what I could do about this void that I was feeling inside my mind and myself gave me a direction to go in, gave me something to work on, something to feel like at least there was some hope or something that I could be doing rather than just sitting at home feeling this horrible hole inside of me.
Now that feeling I understand.
How do you feel it? How do you handle it?
Have you ever had just raw honey on strawberry?
You know what? I can't remember. I feel like wherever I come from, fresh stuff is very rare.
Well, one thing I distinctly remember is the taste of honey and strawberry. And coming home after being so far away, not knowing myself, not knowing the people around me, the mud and the muck and the blood and the shit. And then you come home and you wake in your own bed and you slice up some fresh strawberries and you drizzle them with honey. And that's got to be proof of a god right there.
Does soothe the soul, something nice and sweet on the tongue.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, what I did to take care of the hole in my life and what you do to take care of the hole of your life, everyone does. Strahd's the same. Strahd's attempting to fill something that's missing in his life with this princess, with these things. He may be craving power, he may be craving something, but it's all about the fact that there is something he feels is missing in his life. And that gives me hope, because if he, like us, can feel the void, the lack, that he's missing something, it means he's a lot more like us than we might imagine. And if he's more like us than we might imagine, then we might stand a chance. And he'll dip all the holy water he's just made into his wineskin. And the one thing the gods are good for is creating little things that some people think have more power than they really do. And when they think that, you can use it against them.
I see what you're saying.
You want to do me a favor?
What's that?
Do you have anything on you? Something that is somewhat meaningful, but that you won't necessarily miss too much. Even if it's just a coin. If you had a strawberry, I'd say just strawberry, but you probably don't have a strawberry.
A bit hard to come by here, but here. And I open the little sack at my hip and pull out just one like bone die with these kind of runes hewn into it. There you go.
Pick one of these statues with an offering table in front that has never had anything in it. Take out the dust and then place it in there, and then ask whoever that statue represents to give you a bit of luck.
Do you think that's wise, considering where we are?
I think that when you're feeling alone and abandoned, and someone remembers you and comes by and says hello and talks to you, even if they're not an old friend, even if they don't necessarily know you that much, makes you feel pretty good.
Very well. And Bjorn takes a scan of the statues. Is there anyone in particular that, would call to him in any way? I know that Kurt, you had mentioned that they were pretty faceless.
Well, I mean faceless only in the sense of not people you recognize.
Okay.
Not godly things that you recognize. That's more what I was getting at.
Okay.
Like there's a few that you recognize.
Mhm.
Like there's very much a god to Mordain, the dwarven god. But many of the others you may not recognize.
I walk over and I take a kind of a gentle hand and brush the dust off of the offering stone in front of the dwarven god. And I specifically rotate the runic dice around to the highest number and place it there and look up at the statue and go, I think we could really use your help right now. So look out for us, if you would. Please. And Bjorn turns and looks back at Preacher and
Sounds great to me.
right, that's enough vulnerability for me today. So
What's the worst that can happen?
well, we
Yeah,
could
you
all
should never say that.
we could all fucking die in explosions of fire and maybe be getting cut in half. So
Well, I mean, if that dream is anything to fucking go on about, I mean, that's what's going to happen anyway. So,
So you had the exact same dream, do you think?
Well, I think it shared some pretty disturbing similarities with the rest of y'all. And, it's not something that makes me too comfortable, but it's also something that leads me to believe that the less we know about what we're going to do, the better. If he's in our brains, in our minds, we're going to want to surprise ourselves just as much as we surprise them.
Right. Good. Thanks for the talk, Father. Just
Yeah.
gonna.
And thanks for reminding me of the taste of strawberries.
It's not something I hope to forget anytime soon. You gotta have it with honey, though. That's the way.
My brain is not what it used to be. There are parts of it that go missing and sometimes come back, sometimes don't. And there's a lot of things that I forget. But at least for now, I have the taste of strawberries on my tongue, and that's a pretty good deal.
Well, when we get back, strawberries and honey on me. Not on me, never mind. And you just
It's
see
okay.
Bjorn walk out of the church.
And we'll follow, smirk on his face.
As you're leaving the alchemists, you'll find yourself drifting back over to the tavern. In the tavern, you find Almeida, several cups in.
Not several, just one.
Just
She's
one?
she's gonna try and be as sober as she can right now. Just sort of the fate of the world on her shoulders with her
Yeah.
friends.
That's fair. That's fair. But you walk in. The other two haven't returned yet. And as you do, you sit down. I assume you're sitting at a table, Almeida, yes?
Almada, yes, yeah,
Almada?
she's sitting at a table.
You sit down. Altera, you sit. And have each other for that moment.
I was gonna go to the people outside of town.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
So yes, rewind
I can't remember
that.
what they're
Forget
called.
that.
Sorry.
The Vistani.
The Vistani, yes.
Yes. As you go out to the Vistani, you find a small set of caravan wagons. They're large wagons with very large wheels that seem misproportionate to the size of the wagon, with very large, like Clydesdale level horses that pull these massive wagons. These feel less and less like wagons and more like houses on wheels almost. And they form a small semicircle, and you hear music playing. You see some people dancing, and almost as one, as you approach, they stop, and for a moment they all look at you before taking a measure of you and then continuing on about their way.
They have items out in front of them that I can peruse? No.
They have like the what do you call it, the tent, the lean, not the lean-to, the awning, that's the word, awning.
Okay.
The awnings are coming off, right? And you can see inside there that they might have a few wares on tables and
Okay.
a couple of shelves, but nothing like really like splayed out.
She's going to approach them slowly. I was told that I could possibly find interesting wares here, perhaps rare items.
One of them stops dancing and he looks and he goes, Altira, right?
Yes. How did you know my name?
We're well traveled. I am Gregor. What is it that you're looking for?
I'm not sure.
Do you have a
Yes.
task, a function, a purpose? Would you like some fine silks? Women do love fine silks. And we have so many rolls of fine silks. And he like starts to kind of wander over
She
towards the silks.
follows him. No, not silks. I do not desire pretty things unless those pretty things are dangerous.
Are you looking for something for yourself, then?
For myself, perhaps things that may help my friends.
Well, it is difficult to help your friends without them here because you see our wares and our items, they speak to the purchaser. They speak to the one who holds it.
Then I guess I'm looking for myself.
Why do you seem so exasperated?
I feel like this place has a way of wearing on you, does it not?
It does for some. For those that don't belong, it most certainly does. But I have a feeling you won't be here for too long.
What makes you say that?
Well, because this isn't your kingdom, Empress. Ah, I know. And he reaches down and he pulls out a circlet. A crown befitting royalty. And he sets it on your head. A gift. Let's just say it will enhance you.
And you don't want nothing for it.
Oh, I imagine you'll pay it forward at some time. Would there be anything else?
Does she feel anything when the crown is placed on her head?
She does. She feels empowered. Like energy coursing through her veins.
Seems as though I've found what I'm looking for.
Sometimes the powerful just have to be reminded of who they are, not the demons they have to face.
Perhaps I'll send my friends here when I see them again.
Please do. please do, and hopefully we'll be here. You never know. The way the mist flows, we could be here one moment, gone the next.
Thank you.
You are truly welcome.
Sorry, what was your name again?
It doesn't matter. And he turns and he dances off into the crowd.
She's gonna wander back to the tavern almost in like a daze as she does so, confusion wearing heavy on her.
As you're walking back, mist. The answer to your question is mist. And you look and you see a man wearing a comically pointed hat, large brim, long flowing robes, and the walking staff, with a small hourglass attached to a rope hanging off of his belt. Well, you had some questions?
You're him, the wizard.
For a time.
Yes. Would you follow me back to my friends?
He holds up the hourglass. We have 10 minutes, so let's make them count. Then he drops the hourglass and he walks with you.
She walks hurriedly, seemingly snapped from her dream, to the inn, to the tavern.
In the inn, walking in, the rest of you have made it back to the tavern, and you have found your halfling friend enjoying a drink, and you guys see Altera walking in accompanied by this very handsome-looking man. Though his outfit looks a little out of place, somewhat comical, more of a caricature of anything, of what you would all take as a magic user of some kind. But he walks in and he says, "Thank you for the question, and thank you for making it rather easy. Now, you all have questions, no doubt.
I
And
can't remember that in like 10 seconds, man. Jeez.
Time is limited." And he sets the rope on the hourglass that's attached to his belt. He sets it on the table, and you can see the sand dwindling through. Quickly now.
Oh fuck! I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, I wish we'd have gotten a heads up on this. Can Strahd be defeated?
Yes. Next.
What's his greatest weakness?
His pride.
Why would all four of us have the same dream in one night?
Was it a dream?
I don't fucking know, but we all died at the end, so I'm a little nervous.
Good. Nervousness will keep you alive.
Okay.
Must it be one of us that replaces Strahd?
It must be someone.
Is that the only way it works? Can it be destroyed and no one replaces him?
Yes, it can. And all that you see around you will cease to exist.
Oh, shit.
And what happens to us then? Do we get to go back to where we come from, or are we already dead?
Well, you're most certainly not from here, so I would assume you go back to where you come from. Though, you can use the crystalline necklace to return home, should you so choose.
Whoever takes Strahd's place, do they become corrupted like him?
If they're not strong enough.
I assume you're not talking a kind of physical strength.
He takes over from within. He possesses that person. And he has a battle of wills, as it were, within that person. And it takes time. A day, 2 days, sometimes a month, sometimes a year. But I have yet to see a time when he has not won out in the end. After all, vampires are patient creatures.
There's no way to take his place and destroy him at the same time. No way to rid him entirely. Give this place, whatever it is, a just ruler, someone who can make this place, bring the sun back.
This place was built for him.
I was just going to ask, who came first, Strahd or this place?
They are one and the same.
Who made them?
Forces more powerful than myself or you.
What tools or resources can we use to weaken him?
You already have the tools you need to beat him, but some of the old tales are true. Silver will most definitely wound him. Holy water, stake through the heart, as the old saying goes. But most importantly, you are the secret weapon. You just have to outsmart him. And ultimately separate him from his power.
Which
Or
is
destroy the thing that he desires most.
The princess. Who is
and when
she?
you sit. Sorry,
Sorry.
go for it.
Who is she?
Someone very important.
Makes her so
Time's up.
important.
Time's up, I'm afraid.
No.
And he blinks out in front of you.
God damn it! Bjorn just slams a fist on the table.
Motherfucker.
We
What
got
did I just say?
something.
You reading my lines?
Damn, I was going to ask him about the three of you.
What us?
The three of us.
Yeah, just curious. Almada,
Sure.
did you spend all our silver?
Not a wink of it.
She gives you a cutting look.
Jeez, just asking you a question. Because we might need that silver now. We might need to smelt it and use it.
You didn't even hand it to me.
No, but I know, but I assumed you'd be the one doing the haggling. You have a haggling face.
I think she slams the tip of her silver knife down at the table. Her silver dagger. I've got your fucking silver here, bud.
Thanks.
Alright.
Reach out
Let-
for it. Grab
Let's
it.
not fucking kill each other, alright?
Slaps your hand away.
Give me your fucking silver, I'll figure out a way to smelt it down.
Altera pulls from her pocket your silver rune, and she drops it on the table. She doesn't drop it. She places it on the table in front of you and slides it forward. When you look at it, you realize that not a single coin was spent.
What
After
happened?
doing so, she also pulls out the sack with the candles and the rope and all the basic supplies that they had gathered from the general store. And then again, she reaches into her bag and she pulls out 4 potion bottles.
Did people just give these to you?
I paid for the general goods with my own money. The rogue tried, or the thief. Semantic. The thief tried to argue the price, but I
See,
saw it
told you.
fit to give the woman what she asked for.
Just to be clear, Rune, that's not the part that I was insulted over. And she
Well-
flips the dagger up in the air and catches it one more time.
All right. Can you do anything with that, Bjorn?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure I could do something with it.
She's gonna dole out the potions one by one. She gives Almada and Bjorn the health potions, one each for your health.
Cheers.
She gives Rune the rejuvenation potion.
What does that do?
For you, it will basically restore your spell slots.
And she will keep the mana potion.
So, I think that we have a couple of different options. We can try to kill him. We can kill the princess. We can try to separate him from his power. What does that mean? Is that the necklace?
Perhaps.
I would
Or the
imagine
wifey.
so.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. Altera, do you still have any of that parchment and pens and quills left?
I do. But
Would you
might I
mind?
make a suggestion?
Yeah, of course.
The Byzanti outside of town. I'm not sure how long they'll be here. But they gave me this, and she gestures to the crown on her head.
Oh, sorry. I totally didn't get that you were wearing a crown all of a sudden, or I would have noticed.
yeah. She got
Yeah.
that from the Byzanti outside of town.
Okay.
I did
Oh, I
think
just
about
assumed
calling
you
you
bought that
princess.
for yourself.
He placed it on my head. I can't seem to remember his name. He said it to me, but it was
So
like a
you-
dream.
You drew the Empress card, and now someone put a crown on your head. You fixing to stay here for a while after we're done?
There's
would
an
keep
odd-
I'd keep a watchful eye there, princess. It could be that he's trying to do the old Kansas City shuffle with you.
It is an
Rap,
odd coincidence.
Rap. You hear the marching sound of steel boots on cobblestone.
That doesn't sound good.
That doesn't sound good at
You
all.
hear outside.
Oh.
Where are they, Matilda?
I get up and I start hauling ass out the back. Come on.
Altera just leaps up and grabs the bag of things that she had put on the table.
23 skidoo, and I grab an ale and I just sprint out.
I think Almada immediately goes to stealth behind them, following behind.
Find them, spread out. We must remove the cancer within our land.